There comes a time in life when everything seems uncertain. Doors close. People walk away. Plans fall. And no matter how hard you try, things just don't seem to work. You pray, you wait. And yet silence fills the space where you expected an answer. But what if I told you that this silence is not a punishment? What if I told you that this waiting, this struggle, this feeling of being stuck, it's not a sign that God has forgotten you, but rather a sign that He is preparing you for something greater? There comes a moment in life when people begin to drift away. Friendships that once felt inseparable suddenly grow distant. Relationships that seemed unshakable begin to break apart. The people you trusted the most start acting differently, or worse, they completely disappear. First, it feels like rejection. It feels like abandonment. You question yourself, wondering if you did something wrong, if you could have changed something to make them stay. Well, what if I told you that this separation is not an accident? What if I told you that this is not happening to hurt you, but to prepare you? When God is getting ready to bless you, He often begins by removing certain people from your life. It may not make sense in the moment, and it may be painful, but this is not a punishment. It's preparation. Some people cannot go where God is taking you. Some relationships will hold you back from stepping into the blessing He is prepared for. When God wants to elevate you, He will separate you. He will distance you from distractions, from toxic influences, from people who are only meant to be in your life for a season. At first you resist it. You try to hold on to people who are already walking away. You try to reconnect with those who have already moved on. But what you don't realize is that keeping the wrong people in your life can block the very blessing you've been praying for. Sometimes the people you love the most are the very ones limiting growth. They may not be bad people, but they may not be aligned with where God is leading. They may not share your vision, your faith, or your purpose. And if you are not careful, they can become a weight that slows you down when God is trying to take you higher. God sees what you cannot see. He knows what lies. He knows who will support you and who will betray you. He knows who is genuinely for you and who is only there for what they can gain from. And because He loves you too much to let the wrong people stay in your life, He removed. At first it may feel like loss, but in reality, it's what you thought was rejection was actually redirection. What felt like abandonment was actually an act of divine alignment. You may find yourself in a season where you feel alone. You may wonder why the people who once supported you are no longer there. You may struggle with the silence, with the feeling of being isolated, but understand this: the greatest transformations happen in solitude. The greatest revelations come when you are alone with God. It is in these quiet moments that He speaks, that He prepares you, that He refines you. Look at the stories of those God used powerfully in the Bible before David became king. Spent years in isolation, tending to sheep away from the noise of the world before Joseph rose to power. He was separated from his family, placed in prison, and left to wonder if God had forgotten him before Moses led the Israelites to freedom. He spent 40 years in the wilderness alone. Each of these men faced seasons where they were pulled away from the crowd, where they were distanced from everything familiar, where they had to trust, when nothing made sense. And in that solitude, God prepared them. He strengthened them, equipped them for the blessing that you are not being forgotten, you are being set apart, are not being rejected, you are being redirected, you are not losing people, you are gaining clarity. God is showing you who truly belongs in your life. He is revealing who is meant to walk with you in the next season and who is only meant to be there for a chapter. And the moment you accept that, the moment you stop fighting the separation and start embracing the preparation, you will feel peace. Peace. You will realize that everything is happening exactly as it should. There will come a day when you will look back and thank God for the people He removed. You will see why certain friendships ended, why certain relationships had to fall apart, why certain connections could not continue. You will see that had they stayed, they would have hindered your growth. You will see that their absence made space for the right people, for the ones who were truly meant to be in your life. You will see that their departure was not a loss. It was a blessing in disguise. So, if you are in a season where people are walking away, if you feel like you are losing connections, if you find yourself standing alone, don't be discouraged. This is not a setback, it is a setup. God is clearing the path for what's coming next. He is positioning you for greater. He is making sure that when He blesses you, you will be surrounded by people who will celebrate. You not secretly envy you people who will pray for you, not plot against you, who will push you toward your purpose, not pull you away from it. Trust the process. Trust God's plan. Trust that every separation is making space for elevation. You are not alone. You are being prepared for something. Waiting is one of the hardest things a person can go through, especially when you've been praying, believing, and holding on to faith. Yet nothing seems to change. You ask God for a breakthrough, and instead of a door opening, everything remains. Still, you keep looking for a sign, for a shift, for any indication that your blessing is near, but all you encounter is silence. This is where many people lose hope. This is where doubt begins to creep in, whispering that maybe God has forgotten about you, that maybe your prayers aren't being heard. But what if I told you that this waiting period is not wasted time? What if I told you that God is not ignoring you, but rather He is preparing you? The longer the wait, the greater the blessing. God is not in the business of giving you something before you are ready for it. When a blessing is given too soon, it can be misused, mishandled, or even lost. Imagine receiving a promotion before you've developed the leadership skills. Handle it. Imagine stepping into a relationship before you've healed from past wounds. Imagine walking into a blessing that requires a level of patience and wisdom that you haven't yet built. If God allowed you to receive what you asked for before you were ready, very blessing could become a burden. That's why He takes His time refining you, strengthening you, and making sure when you step into what He has for you, you can handle it with grace, wisdom, and grat. During this waiting season, you will face moments where nothing makes sense. You will question whether you're on the right. You will wonder if you should give up, take shortcuts, or settle for less than what you prayed for. The truth is, waiting is not about punishment. It's about trust. God wants to see if you trust Him enough to wait for His perfect. He wants to know if your faith is dependent on immediate results, or if you truly believe in His plan. Even when you can't see the outcome, look at the stories in the Bible. Joseph waited years in prison for a promise that seemed impossible. Abraham waited decades for the child God had promised. David was anointed as king, but had to wait years before stepping into his destiny. Every great blessing came after a long season of waiting, of test, of trust. And in every case, when the promise finally came, it was worth every second of the wait. But waiting is only one part of the process. Before you receive a blessing, you must also go through tests and challenges. This is where many people lose heart. The moment things get difficult, they assume God is against them. They wonder why, if they are being prepared for a blessing, life seems to be getting harder instead of easier. But the truth is, tests are not meant to break you. They are meant to build you. God will never give you a blessing are not strong enough to carry. When you pray for patience, God doesn't just give you patience. He gives you situations that require patience. When you pray for strength, He places you in circumstances where you must be strong. When you ask for wisdom, He allows you to go through challenges that force you to seek understanding. The tests you face are not a sign of God's absence. They are proof that He is working in you, preparing you for something. Think about a diamond before it shines. must go through intense pressure. Gold must be refined in fire before it reaches its purest. Likewise, before you receive what God has for you, you must be refined, strengthened, and tested. Every hardship, every delay, every challenge is shaping you into the person who can handle the very thing you've been praying for. Many people quit right before their breakthrough. They grow tired of. They become wary of the tests. They let discouragement convince them that their blessing isn't coming. But what they don't realize is that the very moment they feel like giving up is often the moment right before the breakthrough. The enemy knows how close you are, so he tries to plant doubt, fear, and exhaustion in your spirit. He wants you to stop. He wants you to walk away before you see what God has in store for you. But you must hold on. You must remind yourself that the waiting is not wasted, that the tests are not in vain. Every tear, every struggle, every unanswered prayer is leading to something greater. You are not just waiting for a blessing. You are being prepared for it. And when the time is right, when you have been fully, God will open the door, and when He does, you will understand why the wait and the tests were necessary. We'll see that God's timing is perfect, and that the process was always part of the plan. There comes a time when the things that once excited you no longer hold the same appeal. The dreams you once chased don't seem as fulfilling. The conversations you used to enjoy now feel empty. Begin to notice a shift deep within you, something stirring in your spirit, something you can't quite explain. It feels as if you're being pulled in a different direction, as if something inside of you is changing. This is not by accident. Is not a phase. This is God transforming you, preparing your heart, and aligning your desires with His plan. When God is getting ready to bless you, He first works on you from the inside out. He begins to change the way you see things, the way you think, the way you move. Old habits that once felt comfortable now feel out of place. You start craving something more, something deeper, something beyond what you used to settle. For this shift in your desires is a sign that God is preparing you for the next level. He is stripping away that no longer serve you, removing distractions and redirecting your focus. At first, this change may feel confusing. You may wonder why the things that used to bring you joy no longer satisfy you. You may feel distant from the people and places that were once a big part of your life. But this is not a loss, it's a transformation. God is not taking things away from you to hurt you, is making room for something greater. He is clearing out the old so that He can bring in the new, and the moment you stop resisting and start embracing this shift, you will begin to see the beauty in the transformation. But even as God is shifting your desires, there will come a time when things start aligning in ways you never expected. Doors that were once locked will suddenly begin to open. Opportunities that seemed impossible will present themselves effortlessly. People will up in your life at the right moment. Connections will be made, and things will start falling into place in ways you never could have orchestrated on your own. This is the power of divine timing. For so long, you may have tried to force things to happen. You pushed you knocked on doors that refused to open. But when something is truly meant for you, it won't feel. It will happen naturally, smoothly, in perfect alignment with God's plan. When the right opportunity comes, you won't have to beg for it. When the right people enter your life, you won't have chase them. What is meant for you will come, and it will come in a way that confirms that God's hand is on. But the most powerful confirmation that you are on the right path is not the open doors, not the opportunities, not even the external signs. It's the peace within before the blessing arrives, before the breakthrough happens. God will give you an unshakable sense of peace. This peace does not come from your circumstances. It is not dependent on whether things are going the way you plan. It is a deep, settled knowing in your spirit that everything is happening exactly as it should. This peace is what allows you to remain steady even when things don't make sense. It is what keeps you from worrying, from doubting, from trying to control everything. Even when challenges arise, even when things don't move as quickly as you want them to, you will feel a stillness within you, a calm assurance that God is in control. This is how you know that you are in alignment with His. Many people search for external signs to confirm that they are on the right path. They look for success, validation, and approval from others, but true confirmation comes from within. When God is preparing you, He gives you a peace that surpasses all understanding. A peace that tells you that no matter what happens, you are exactly where you are meant to be. Don't have to chase what God has for you. You don't have to strive, stress, or force things into place. Shift in the sudden alignment of opportunities and the deep peace in your spirit. Signs that God is preparing you. Trust the process. Trust that what is meant for you will come at the right time. Trust that every change, every delay, and every moment of waiting is leading you closer to the blessing that has already been written for you. There will come a time when you feel like the weight of life is pressing down on you. The struggles become heavier, the obstacles seem bigger, and the journey feels exhausting. Everything you have been believing for, everything you have been working, suddenly feels out of reach. You question why things are getting harder instead of easier. You wonder why, if God is preparing you for a blessing, the road is filled with more trials, more setbacks, and more challenges. You don't realize is that this resistance is not a sign that you are failing. It is proof that you are getting closer. The enemy does not attack what is not a threat. The moment you step into the process of receiving what God has for you, opposition increases. Distractions appear, challenges arise, and doubt begins to creep in. This is not a coincidence. The closer you get to your blessing, the harder the enemy works to stop you from reaching it. Struggles you are facing are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to test your faith, to refine your character, and to strengthen your spirit. Think about the moments in your life when you faced the greatest resistance. Those were often the moments right before a breakthrough. The moments when you wanted to give up, when everything seemed to be going wrong, when you questioned whether God was even listening. Those were the moments when you were on the edge of something great. The enemy wants you to believe that the struggle means you are losing, but in reality, the struggle means you are growing, that you are being stretched, that you are stepping into something bigger than yourself. But even as the resistance increases, something else begins. You start noticing that the people around you begin to shift. Some people who are once close to you begin to distance themselves. Relationships that once felt strong suddenly feel strained. People you trusted begin to show their true colors. And in that moment, it feels like you are losing everyone. You wonder why certain friendships are falling apart, why certain doors are closing, why the people you thought would always be there are suddenly gone. But what you don't see in the moment is that this separation is necessary. Not everyone can go where God is taking you. Some people are meant to be part of your journey for a season, but they cannot enter the next chapter of your life. Their presence would hold you back. Their mindset would limit your growth. Their influence would keep you from stepping into the fullness of what God has planned for you. And so in His divine wisdom, God begins to remove them. At first, it may feel like rejection. It may hurt more than you ever imagined, but one day you will look back and realize that their absence was actually a blessing. The people who walked away were not meant to stay. The opportunities that didn't work out were not meant for you. The doors that closed were protecting you from something you could not see. And once you embrace that truth, you will stop mourning what you lost and start praising God for what He is making room for. Even after the struggle, even after the separation, there is still one final sign that God is preparing you. He places a vision so strong in your heart that you cannot ignore it. No matter how many times you doubt yourself, no matter how many obstacles arise, there is something deep within you that refuses to let go. It's that unshockable, knowing that you were made for more. That feeling that no matter what happens, you cannot settle for less than what God has placed in your spirit. Vision will keep you awake at night. It will stir something inside of you. It will make you restless, not in a way that leaves you anxious, but in a way that fuels your faith. You will begin to see glimpses of the future God has for you. You will start dreaming bigger, believing deeper, expecting more, and that is because God is showing you a preview of what's to come. Not everyone will understand your vision. Some people will doubt you. Some will try to convince you to give up, to settle, to be realistic. But when God plans something in your heart, no human opinion can erase. The vision is not there by accident. It is there because God is leading you towards something greater. You may not see the full picture yet. You may still be in the waiting season, still facing struggles, still experiencing loss, but if you feel the vision burning inside of you, if you feel that deep knowing that something greater is ahead, hold on to it. That is your reminder that everything you are going through is leading you to something beyond what you could ever imagine. God does not give you a vision without a plan to bring it to life. He does not allow you to struggle without a purpose. He does not remove people from your life without. Every hardship, every delay, every moment of waiting is a step closer to the blessing that is already being written for you. Keep believing. Keep trusting. Keep moving forward because what is coming is far greater than anything you are leaving behind. There comes a moment in life when you feel like everything is being stripped away. The things you once relied on seem to be falling apart. The people you thought would always be there start fading away. The opportunities you believed were meant for you suddenly disappear. It feels like loss, like failure, like you're being left behind while everyone else is moving forward. But what you don't realize is that this is not punishment, this is preparation. God is not taking things away to hurt. He is making space for something greater. When God is getting ready to bless you, He will remove everything that is not aligned with your destiny. The relationships that were built on convenience, the distractions that kept you from focusing, the doors that you forced open, He will take them all away. And in that moment, it will feel like everything is working against you. You will question why things are so difficult. You will wonder if you are making the wrong choices, but what you are experiencing is not rejection, it is redirection. God sees what you cannot see, knows what is. He knows that if He allows you to hold on to certain things, they will only hinder your growth. So He removes them not to break you, but to set you. The things you thought you needed, the things you were desperately holding on to were actually keeping you from receiving the blessing that He has prepared for you. But until you let go, until you release the weight of what is not meant for you, you cannot receive what truly belongs to you, and so you find yourself in a season of isolation. The noise quiets. The people fade away. The things that once kept you busy no longer have the same effect. At first, it feels lonely. It feels like you are being left in the wilderness wandering with no clear direction. But what is really happening is that God is pulling you closer. He is removing the distractions so that you can hear Him. He is taking you to a place where your faith is no longer dependent on external validation, but on His voice alone. In this season, you will be tested. Your patience will be stretched. Faith will be challenged. You will have moments when you feel like giving up, moments when you question if you are on the right path. But if you pay attention, you will also notice something else. You will begin to feel a deep sense of peace. A peace that does not come from your circumstances, but from something great. A peace that tells you even when everything around you is uncertain, that you are exactly where you are meant to be. is how you know God is. Not because everything is going perfectly, not because you have all the answers, but because in the midst of the uncertainty you have an unshakable knowing that something greater is coming. This peace is not logical. It is not something that can be explained. It is something that is placed within you by God Himself. Health, it is a divine assurance that no matter what happens, you are not alone. When this peace settles in, you stop chasing you. Stop forcing you, stop trying to control everything. Begin to understand that what is meant for you will come in God's timing, not yours. You begin to trust that what is falling apart is making way for something better. You stop running after people who don't value you. You stop holding on to situations that drain you. You stop settling for less than what you deserve. And as you let go, as you surrender, you make room for the blessing that has been waiting for you all along. Then something shifts. The same things that once felt difficult start to feel effortless. The doors that were closed begin to open. The weight you were carrying is lifted, and suddenly you realize why everything had to happen the way it did. You see, the loss was actually a gain. Rejection was actually protection. The delay was actually. And in that moment, you finally understand God was not taking things away from you, was making space for the blessing He had planned all along. Is the beauty of God's process. He does not just give you what you ask for, He prepares you to receive it. He does not just bless you. He makes sure that you are ready for the blessing. And so, if you are in a season where everything seems to be falling apart, where you feel like you are losing more than you are gaining, know this: God is not finished. What He is preparing for you is greater than anything you could have imagined. Keep trusting, believing, and most importantly, keep making space for what is coming. Because when the blessing arrives, you will realize that every struggle, every setback, and every sacrifice was you exactly where you were meant to. There comes a point in your journey when you start noticing a deep shift within you. It's not just about the circumstances around you changing, it's something internal. You no longer think the way you used to. The things that once interested don't excite you anymore. The conversations that used to entertain you now feel meaningless. The habits that once controlled you suddenly lose their. It's as if God is rewiring you from the inside out, preparing you for something greater. Something that you cannot yet see, but can already feel in your spirit. This shift it makes you question everything. You start wondering why you no longer fit in with the people you once called friends. You begin to feel disconnected from the places and things that used to bring you comfort. It's not that you are better than anyone else, but that God is calling you to something higher. He is separating you from the distractions, the negativity, the things that were keeping you stuck. It's not rejection, it's redirection. He is closing doors that no longer align with your purpose, so that you can walk fully into the He has placed on your life. And in this process, your desires begin. Change. The things you once prayed for don't seem as important anymore. Things you used to chase no longer feel worth the effort. You start craving something. You start longing for clarity, for wisdom, for direction. You no longer want just any. You want the right one. You no longer want just any. You want the one that is meant for you. You stop settling for temporary happiness and start seeking lasting fulfillment. This is how you know God is preparing. He is refining your desires so that when the blessing comes, you will recognize it. He is teaching you patience so that you don't rush into something that isn't meant for you. He is aligning your heart with His will so that when He finally gives you what you've been waiting for, you will not only receive it, but be ready to handle it. And while this transformation is happening, something else begins to shift your mindset. The fears that once controlled you start to lose their power. Doubts that once held you back begin to fade. You no longer operate from a place of scarcity, but from a place of faith. You start believing What God has for you will find you. You stop worrying about how things will happen and start trusting that they will happen in divine timing. But just because you are changing doesn't mean the process is easy. There will still be moments of doubt, moments where you question if you are truly on the right path. There will still be days when impatience creeps in, when you wonder why the blessing hasn't arrived yet. But in those moments, God will remind you. He is not just working on your blessing. He is working on you, is stretching you and molding you into the person who can carry what He is about to give you. And then something powerful happens. You start walking differently. Move in desperation, but in confidence you no longer chase things that are not meant for. You stop forcing doors to open and start trusting that the right ones will. You start attracting the right people, the right opportunities, the right situation. Not because you are lucky, but because you are aligned with God's plan for your life. And when the blessing finally comes, it won't feel like luck. If you will look back and realize that every delay, every setback, every moment of waiting was necessary, you will see that if God had given you what you wanted earlier, you wouldn't have been ready. But now, after everything you've been through, after all the refining you are, that's the beauty of God. He doesn't just bless you, He prepares you for the blessing. He doesn't just give you what you ask for. He gives you what you are ready for. If you are in a season of change, of discomfort, of letting go, know this: you are not being punished. You are being positioned for something greater than you can imagine. Positioned for a blessing that is not just coming to you, but one that you will be fully prepared to receive. Keep going. Keep trusting, because when the time is right, everything will fall into place exactly as it was meant to. There is no circumstance in your life too heavy for God to lift, no storm too fierce for Him to calm, no burden too great for Him to turn into a blessing. What you see as struggle today is merely the preparation for something greater, something beyond your present understanding. Your tough situation is not a punishment, but an invitation to trust, to surrender, and to know that all things are being worked together for your good. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the very thing you desire most. See it clearly in your mind's eye. Feel the joy of it as if it were already yours. Do not allow the weight of the current moment to convince you that you are alone, for you are never alone. The same God who placed the stars in the sky has already prepared a path for you, a way through the trial that will not only bring relief, but abundance. Faith is not waiting for the evidence to appear before you believe. Faith is believing before you see. Whatever hardship you face, whatever mountain seems too high to climb, begin to see it as the very instrument that is carving you into the person who will receive the blessing. There is no wasted suffering in God's plan, only transformation, only renewal. Your mind is the birthplace of miracles. What you dwell upon, what you assume to be true, is what will shape your reality. If you assume that you are abandoned, that this suffering will never end, then that is the world you will walk in. But if you assume that this very challenge is working in your favor, if you dare to trust that God is orchestrating a divine outcome, you will see your hardship turn into a doorway of unimaginable blessings. When Joseph was thrown into the pit, when he was sold into slavery, when he was imprisoned unjustly, the world would have called him a man who had lost everything. But God saw something greater. He saw a ruler, a man being shaped by his struggles, a man whose hardships would lead him to a throne. What looked like suffering was, in truth, the divine hand of favor, guiding him towards something beyond human comprehension. You may feel trapped in a moment of uncertainty, but within you is the power to choose how you see it. Speak as though the victory has already arrived. Declare that your circumstances are shifting, that blessings are on their way, that everything is working together for your highest good. And as you continue in this faith, your world will begin to rearrange itself in alignment with that truth. There is nothing lost that cannot be restored 100-fold. The job you lost, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that slipped through your fingers, none of it is gone forever. When you trust in divine timing, you will see that what seemed like loss was only redirection, moving you towards something far greater than you imagined. Hold this truth in your heart. Your struggle is not permanent. It is the cocoon before the butterfly, the seed beneath the soil, the night before the sunrise. Every tear you have shed, every moment of doubt, every hardship, God is using it all to shape you, to mold you, to bless you beyond measure. Stand firm in faith, knowing that your toughest situation is the very ground upon which your greatest blessings will grow. There is a power within you far greater than the world around you, a power that does not bow to circumstances, that is not limited by what the eyes can see or the ears can hear. This power is the voice of God within, the divine presence that speaks through faith, through vision, through the deep knowing that no matter how dark the night, the dawn is certain to come. The situation you are facing now, the weight upon your shoulders, the uncertainty in your heart, these are not signs of your defeat. They are the shaping forces of something extraordinary, something beyond your imagination. What looks like delay is divine timing. What looks like suffering is transformation. What appears to be an ending is merely the beginning of a far greater story. The world will tell you to judge by what you see. It will whisper doubts. It will magnify fear. It will convince you that nothing is changing. But if you truly understood the nature of God, you would not be moved by what the world presents before you. You would know that beyond every obstacle is a door, behind every trial is a lesson, and within every trial is a lesson waiting to be revealed. Look beyond appearances. See with the eyes of faith. When the waves crash against you, do not be afraid. For even the ocean is under divine command, and just as he parted the sea for Moses, he will part a way for you. Your mind is the soil in which the seeds of your future are planted. If you dwell on lack, on fear, on what is missing, you will continue to walk in the shadow of struggle. But if you dwell on the promise, if you see yourself already victorious, already restored, already walking in abundance, then nothing in this world can keep your blessing from you. Faith is not about begging for change. It is about knowing that the change has already taken place in the unseen. It is about assuming the feeling of your answered prayer, carrying yourself as if your breakthrough has already arrived. When the walls of Jericho stood tall, the Israelites did not focus on their height or strength. They did not let their eyes deceive them. Instead, they obeyed, they believed, and they moved forward in faith. And on the appointed day, those walls did not simply weaken, they collapsed entirely. This is the power of unwavering faith. What looks immovable will move. What you have been praying for, hoping for, believing for, is already on its way to you. Do not curse the difficult season you are in, for it is preparing you for a blessing that your former self could not yet carry. If a tree is not pruned, it will not bear fruit. If gold is not refined, it will not shine. And if you are not tested, you will not step into the fullness of your destiny. You are not being abandoned, you are being prepared. Every delay, every rejection, every closed door, it is all part of the divine orchestration of your future. God is not taking anything from you. He is making room for something better. Think of the farmer who plants his seeds. He does not see the harvest immediately. He does not dig up the soil each day in doubt, wondering if anything is happening beneath the surface. No, he trusts the process. He knows that though he cannot see it, the seed is growing, the roots are taking hold, and in due time he will reap a harvest. The same is true for your life. What is unseen is not non-existent. Just because you do not see your breakthrough does not mean it is not unfolding. Trust the process. Trust that even in the silence, even in the stillness, God is working all things together for your good. Joseph was sold into slavery, falsely accused, imprisoned. From the outside, it looked like setback after setback, but in reality, it was the divine setup. Every hardship was positioning him, molding him, preparing him for the place where he was destined to be. Had he not been thrown into the pit, he would not have reached the palace. What others meant for harm, God used for good. This is the truth of every trial. What seems like a loss is only redirection. What feels like suffering is the very thing making you stronger. If you could see what God sees, you would not worry. You would not doubt. You would know that everything is happening exactly as it should. There is no force in this world that can stop what God has ordained for you. No person, no setback, no mistake can take away what is divinely yours. The only thing that can keep you from your blessing is your own disbelief. If you speak against your breakthrough, if you align your words with fear, if you see yourself as a victim rather than victorious, you will remain where you are. But the moment you shift your perspective, the moment you declare that this trial is working in your favor, the moment you see yourself already walking in victory, the unseen forces of heaven move on your behalf. Do not pray from a place of desperation. Pray from a place of assurance. Speak as though it is already done. Thank God not just for what He has done, but for what He is about to do. Let your words be a reflection of your faith, not your fear, for what you declare will manifest. If you say, I am defeated, defeat will follow. But if you say, I am rising, I am blessed, I am favored, then blessings will seek you out, favor will surround you, and doors will open in places you never imagined. It is not your job to figure out how it will happen. It is not your responsibility to control the process. Your only job is to believe, to stand firm, to trust that what God has promised He will fulfill. The moment you let go of control, the moment you surrender your need to see immediate results, that is when the breakthrough will come. Not because you forced it, but because you aligned yourself with divine timing. You may not understand why you are facing this season, but one day you will look back and see how every moment was necessary. You will see how the closed doors protected you, how the disappointments redirected you, how the waiting strengthened you. And when the blessing finally arrives, you will realize that not a single moment was wasted. Stand firm. Speak life over your situation. Know that this tough moment is not the end of your story. It is merely the prologue to a testimony so great that you will look back in awe at how God turned it all around. You are walking towards something extraordinary. Do not give up. Do not lose faith. The blessing is already on its way. Every trial you face is shaping you in ways you cannot yet comprehend. It is stretching you, refining you, strengthening you for the very thing you have been praying for. If everything came easily, if there were no struggles, no setbacks, no challenges, you would not develop the wisdom or resilience to handle the blessings that are meant for you. Look at your life and recognize that nothing is happening by accident. Every delay, every obstacle, every moment of uncertainty, it is all part of the divine process. Nothing is wasted in God's plan. Even the moments that seem unfair, even the losses that seem unbearable, are serving a higher purpose. You may feel as though your prayers have gone unanswered, as though you have been waiting for far too long. But what if the delay is actually protection? What if the thing you desire most is being prepared for you just as you are being prepared for it? What if the very situation you are right now is the training ground for the person you are meant to become? Do not despise the process. Do not rush ahead of divine timing. Trust that the God who placed the vision in your heart will bring it to fulfillment in a way that is far greater than you imagine. When the Israelites were led out of Egypt, they thought their struggle was over. But then they found themselves at the Red Sea, with the enemy pursuing them from behind. They could have believed it was the end. They could have given in to fear. But in that moment, God made a way where there was no way. The sea that should have drowned them instead became the path to their freedom. This is how God works. What looks like the end is often the very thing that leads to your breakthrough. The enemy that appears to be gaining ground over you will not have the final say. What was meant to destroy you will only elevate you. But you must hold on to faith. You must believe even when there is no evidence to support your belief. Even when the situation seems to be getting worse. Even when the doors remain closed. Even when the waiting feels unbearable, stand firm. Faith is not tested in times of ease. It is tested in the moments when everything seems uncertain. That is when you must decide whether you will trust in what you see or in what you know to be true in your heart. Think of a mother carrying a child in her womb. She does not see the baby growing day by day, but she knows it is happening. She does not doubt that in the right time she will give birth. She trusts the process. She prepares for the arrival of what she has not yet seen. This is the kind of faith you must have. You may not see the evidence of your breakthrough yet, but that does not mean it is not coming. It is already unfolding, already taking shape, already moving towards you in ways beyond your understanding. And when it comes, it will not be a small blessing. It will not be ordinary. It will be beyond what you expected, beyond what you thought possible. God does not do things halfway. When He restores, He multiplies. When He blesses, He overflows. Look at Job. He lost everything, yet in the end He received twice what he had before. Look at Joseph. He went from being a prisoner to ruling a nation. Look at the disciples. They thought the cross was the end, but 3 days later, they witnessed the greatest miracle of all. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. What you are going through now is not a sign of abandonment. It is a sign that something greater is being prepared. The pressure you feel, the weight of the struggle, is simply an indication that you are on the verge of something extraordinary. A diamond is only formed through immense pressure. Gold is only purified through fire. And your spirit is only strengthened through the trials you endure. What if instead of seeing this moment as a burden, you saw it as an opportunity? What if instead of asking why this is happening to you, you ask what this is preparing you for? What if instead of feeling discouraged, you felt expectant, knowing that something incredible is on its way? The way you perceive your situation will determine how you experience it. If you see yourself as defeated, you will walk in defeat. But if you see yourself as victorious, if you declare that this is working in your favor, then nothing will be able to stop what is coming to you. There is no power greater than the power of God working in your life. There is no situation that He cannot turn around. The sickness you are facing, the financial struggle, the heartbreak, the disappointment, none of it is beyond His ability to restore. He is the God who heals, the God who provides, the God who lifts up those who have been cast down. And when He moves, He does so in ways that leave no doubt. You will look back on this moment and see that it was necessary. You will see that had you not walked through this season, you would not have grown into the person who could receive the blessing that is coming. You will see how every tear, every prayer, every moment of perseverance was shaping you, refining you, strengthening you for the life you were always meant to live. Hold on to faith. Speak life into your situation. Stand firm in the knowledge that God is working all things together for your good. The tough situation you are in right now is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of something far greater than you ever imagined. The blessing is already on its way. When you understand the nature of faith, you realize that your external circumstances are simply reflections of what is being shaped within you. The struggle you are facing is not there to break you. It is there to awaken you. It is there to stretch your belief, to elevate your understanding, to bring you to a place where you no longer rely on what you see, but on what you know to be true in your heart. Look at the way a seed is planted in the darkness of the soil. At first, nothing seems to be happening. Day after day, the earth remains still, and to the outside world, it looks as if nothing has changed. But beneath the surface, deep in the unseen, something powerful is taking place. The seed is cracking open, its roots are pushing down, and its potential is beginning to take shape. The same is true for your life. You may feel buried under the weight of your challenges. You may feel hidden, unseen, forgotten. But just as the seed must remain underground for a time before it emerges into the light, your growth is happening in the unseen places. It is happening in the moments of struggle, in the times of waiting, in the silent prayers whispered in faith. God is not only aware of your situation, He is using it. He is turning what was meant for harm into a tool for your transformation. You may not understand it now, but trust that every delay, every closed door, every unexpected detour is moving you towards something far greater than you can imagine. There are moments in life when everything seems to be working against you. You pray, but the situation does not change. You believe, but the mountain remains unmoved. It is in these moments that your faith is tested. Will you give up? Will you surrender to fear? Or will you stand firm, knowing that even when you cannot see the way, God is still making a way? Think of Abraham, who was called to leave everything familiar and walk into the unknown with nothing but a promise. Think of Moses, who stood before the Red Sea with an army behind him and no escape in sight. Think of David, a shepherd boy, standing before a giant with nothing but a slingshot and faith. None of them could see the full picture. None of them had all the answers, but they moved forward in faith. And because of that, the impossible became possible. Your situation may seem impossible, but it is only a setup for a miracle. The greater the challenge, the greater the testimony. When God moves, He does so in a way that no one can deny. He does not simply bring you out of the storm. He allows the storm to shape you, to strengthen you, to prepare you for what is coming next. You are not waiting for God to bless you. You are already blessed. The blessing is not something that comes from outside of you. It is something that is awakened within you. When you change the way you see your situation begins to change. When you start to believe that everything is working for your good, you align yourself with the divine plan that has already been set in motion. Even the pain you have endured has a purpose. The disappointments, the betrayals, the losses, they were not meant to destroy you. They were meant to refine you. They were meant to remove the things that no longer serve you, to bring you to a place where you are no longer attached to the temporary, but anchored in the eternal. Look at the process of refining gold. The gold is placed in the fire, not to destroy it, but to remove the impurities. The fire burns away everything that is not gold, leaving behind something pure, something valuable, something unshakable. This is what God is doing in your life. The fire you are walking through is not there to consume you. It is there to purify you, to prepare you for what is coming next. If you knew what was on the other side of this challenge, you would not waste a moment in fear or doubt. You would rejoice knowing that what looks like a setback is actually a setup. You would walk through this season with confidence, knowing that your greatest blessings often come wrapped in the disguise of struggle. You may feel like you have lost time, like too much been taken from you. But God is a restorer. He's not just going to bring back what was lost. He's going to multiply it. He's going to give you more than you had before. The years you spent in pain, the moments you spent wondering if things would ever change, they are not wasted. They are seeds sown into the soil of your destiny. And in the right season, they will produce a harvest greater than you imagine. God does not do things halfway. When He restores completely. When He blesses abundantly. Think of Job, who lost everything, yet in the end received double what he had before. Think of Joseph, who was betrayed, enslaved, imprisoned. yet was elevated to a position of power that saved nations, you may feel as though you are in the prison of your situation, waiting for the promise to be fulfilled. But the prison is only temporary. The struggle is only temporary. Your story does not end here. This is only a chapter, and the best is yet to come. Hold on to faith. Speak life into your situation. Declare that this is working for your good even when you do not see it. The words you speak shape your reality. Do not speak defeat over your life. Do not speak fear. Speak victory. Speak faith. Speak as if your blessing has already arrived, because in the spiritual realm it has. The world will tell you to fear, to doubt, to expect the worst. But you are not of the world. You are a child of the Most High, and He has called you to walk by faith, not by sight. When the world says it is impossible, God says all things are possible. When the world says you are defeated, God says you are more than a conqueror. Everything is shifting in your favor. Even now, even in the midst of the struggle, things are aligning. The doors that were once closed will open. The opportunities that seem lost will be restored. The pain that felt unbearable will become the foundation of your greatest strength. You are standing on the edge of something extraordinary. Do not be discouraged by what you see now, for what is coming is far greater. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust that God, who began a good work in you, will bring it to completion. The tough situation you are in now is not the end. It is the beginning of something greater than you ever imagined. Keep your faith strong, for the breakthrough is already on its way. Every great transformation begins in the unseen. Before the rain falls, the clouds must first gather. Before the tree grows, the seed must first break open. Before your life shifts, your faith must first be tested. What you are facing right now is not a sign of failure, but a sign that something greater is being prepared. It may look like you are stuck, but you are not stuck. You are in transition. The discomfort you feel is the stretching of your spirit, the expansion of your faith, the preparation for something beyond what you have imagined. God does not take you through the storm without giving you the strength to endure it. The difficulty you face is not a punishment, it is a process. You are not being buried, you are being planted. You are not being abandoned, you are being prepared. Everything that appears to be working against you is actually working for you. The pain, the waiting, the uncertainty, it is all shaping you into who you were created to be. There are moments in life when you will feel like you're walking through the fire. The intensity will make you question whether you will make it through, but you will. You were created to withstand the fire. It is not there to destroy you. It is there to reveal what is within you. Gold is refined in fire, and so are you. Every trial is burning away doubt, fear, and limitation. Every struggle is stripping away the false identity you once carried. What you are becoming through this process is greater than anything you have lost. Do not focus on what has been taken away. Focus on what is being built within you. The transformation happening in your spirit is worth more than anything the world could give you. You are not losing, you are gaining something far more valuable. You are being positioned for blessings beyond your comprehension. The way forward may not always be clear, but that is where faith comes in. Faith is walking without needing to see the whole path. Faith is trusting that every step you take is leading you to something greater. Faith is knowing that even when things seem impossible, God is already working behind the scenes to make a way. There will be moments when doubt tries to creep in, when fear whispers that things will never change, but you must hold on to what you know to be true. You must stand firm in the belief that God's plan for you is good, that His promises are true, that He is faithful even when you cannot see the outcome. Nothing is wasted. Every setback, every disappointment, every tear you have shed, it is all part of a divine design. The pain is not random, it is purposeful. It is pushing you toward the version of yourself that you were always meant to become. You may feel weary. You may feel as if you have been waiting for too long, as if nothing is shifting. But remember this, delays are not denials. The waiting season is not wasted time. It is the space where you are being strengthened, where your faith is being deepened, where your heart is being prepared to receive the abundance that is on its way. Think about a mother carrying a child. She does not see the baby growing, but she knows that within her life is forming. She waits with expectation, knowing that at the right time, what has been developing in secret will be revealed. The same is true for your blessings. They are forming. They are growing. Even if you do not yet see them, they are on their way. What is meant for you will not pass you by. The enemy may try to convince you that you have missed your opportunity, that too much time has passed, that your best days are behind you, but that is a lie. Nothing can stop what God has already ordained for your life. What has been delayed will be restored. What has been blocked will be opened. The enemy does not have the final say. God does. You must hold on to your vision even when everything around you suggests otherwise. You must believe in your victory even when you do not yet see it. Speak as if it is already done. Walk as if you have already received it. Align your mind, your heart, and your words with the truth that all things are working together for your good. Faith is not passive. It is active. It requires you to move to believe, to step forward even when the path is unclear. It requires you to trust, to surrender, to let go of doubt and embrace certainty. You are not waiting for a blessing. You are walking toward it. With every act of faith, with every word of belief, you are pulling your future into your present. The moment you truly believe that your situation is shifting, it begins to shift. The moment you truly embrace the truth that God is working in your favor, doors begin to open. It is not about waiting for a miracle. It is about aligning yourself with the miracle that has already been set in motion. Your words hold power. Your thoughts shape your reality. Speak as if the blessing is already here. Declare that you are favored, that you are victorious, that everything is falling into place. Speak with confidence, with conviction, with the certainty that what you have asked for has already been given. Even when others doubt, even when circumstances suggest otherwise, stand firm in your faith. Do not waver. Do not allow the noise of the world to shake what you know in your spirit to be true. What is coming is greater than what has been. What is ahead of you is far more glorious than what is behind you. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are being positioned for something beyond your imagination. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Trust that the struggles you have faced are birthing something extraordinary. Trust that the tears you have cried are watering the seeds of your destiny. Your current situation is not your final destination. What looks like a closed door is simply a redirection. What seems like a delay is actually divine timing. The blessings that are on their way will not just restore what was lost. They will exceed it. Hold on to faith. Keep speaking life over your circumstances. Walk with the knowing that God has already made a way. Step forward with confidence because your breakthrough is closer than you think. Everything is shifting in your favor. Everything is aligning for your good. What was once a struggle will soon be a testimony. What was once a burden will soon be a blessing. The best is yet to come. The world may tell you to measure your life by what you can see, by the circumstances in front of you, by the evidence that appears real. But faith does not operate by sight. It operates by knowing. Knowing that even in the darkest hour, the light is already on its way. Knowing that even when you feel like you are at your lowest, something greater is rising within you. What you see is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. The power that moves mountains, the force that speaks life into existence, is already working on your behalf. You were never meant to live by fear. Fear is an illusion, a shadow with no real substance. It exists only in the absence of faith. The moment you choose to trust, fear loses its grip. The moment you stand firm in the truth that all things are working for your good, doubt dissolves like mist before the morning sun. Do not entertain thoughts of lack, of struggle, of defeat. Those thoughts do not belong to you. They are intrusions, distractions, designed to pull you away from the truth that you are already victorious. There is nothing missing in your life, nothing broken, nothing incomplete. What seems like lack is only an illusion created by the mind. In reality, you have already been given everything you need. The path to your blessing is not outside of you, it is within you. The moment you shift your focus from what you lack to what you have, your entire reality changes. Instead of seeing obstacles, you will see opportunities. Instead of feeling defeated, you will feel empowered. Instead of wondering when your breakthrough will come, you will realize it has already begun. Every great blessing is first conceived in the mind. What you dwell upon, you bring into being. If you dwell on struggle, you will see more struggle. If you dwell on abundance, you will attract abundance. The world does not respond to your complaints. It responds to your faith. When you stand in the certainty that what you desire is already yours, the universe has no choice but to align itself to your belief. Do not allow worry to take root. Do not allow frustration to shape your words. Speak life. Speak victory. Speak as if every promise has already been fulfilled. It does not matter how long you have waited. Time is not a limitation for God. What seems delayed is not denied. What seems impossible is already unfolding. The unseen forces working in your favor are greater than anything you can comprehend. Right now, doors are opening that you do not yet see. Right now, solutions are forming that you have not yet discovered. Right now, the seeds you have planted in faith are breaking through the soil, preparing to bear fruit in ways beyond your imagination. There is a rhythm to life, a divine order that cannot be rushed. Just as the ocean waves move in perfect harmony, just as the stars align in celestial precision, your life is unfolding exactly as it should. Trust in this timing. Trust that every closed door was a protection. Trust that every detour was a lesson. Trust that even the pain had a purpose. You are not behind schedule. You are exactly where you need to be. Your thoughts are the architects of your future. If you want to see change, begin within. Shift your perspective, and your reality will shift with it. Speak as if you are already blessed, and you will become blessed. Walk as if you are already victorious, and victory will meet you on the path. Every great change begins with a decision to believe, to trust, to act as if it is already done. Even in the silence, even when it seems like nothing is happening, know that everything is happening. The process is unseen, but it is unstoppable. A seed does not sprout the moment it is planted. It takes root in darkness before it ever breaks the surface. So do not be discouraged when you cannot see the evidence yet. Keep watering your faith. Keep nurturing your belief. What is hidden now will soon be revealed. There is no power that can stop what has been ordained for you. No opposition, no setback. No challenge is greater than the force that is guiding your life. Even when it seems like all odds are against you, remember this. You were never meant to rely on external circumstances. Your power does not come from the world. It comes from within. When you align yourself with divine truth, when you stand firm in your faith, the entire universe must bend in your favor. There will be moments when the world tests you, moments when it seems easier to give up than to keep believing. But those moments are the very ones that define your breakthrough. When the pressure is the greatest, it is because you are on the verge of something new. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is purified in fire, and your spirit is being strengthened through every challenge you face. You were never meant to struggle. You were never meant to live in fear, in doubt, in lack. You were meant to rise. You were meant to walk in confidence, to embrace the fullness of life, to receive every blessing that has been set aside for you. Let go of the idea that you have to earn your worth, that you have to strive for your breakthrough. The truth is, it has already been given to you. Your only task is to receive it, to claim it, to walk as if it is already done. What you feel now is temporary. The struggle, the uncertainty, the waiting, it will pass. But what is being built within you will last forever. You are being prepared for something greater. You are being shaped into the person who can hold the blessings that are on their way. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of something beyond your wildest dreams. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are not overlooked. Every prayer has been heard. Every tear has been counted. Every hope you have carried in your heart is already being fulfilled. The answers are coming. The doors are opening. The shift is happening. And soon, what once seemed impossible will become your reality. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep knowing that the best is yet to come. So stand firm in your faith. Hold on to the truth that your current situation is not your final destination. Every challenge, every delay, every moment of uncertainty is shaping you for something far greater than you can imagine. What once felt like a burden will soon reveal itself as a blessing. What seemed like a setback will be the very thing that propels you forward. Walk with confidence, knowing that what is meant for you will never pass you by. Speak as if it is already done. Live as if you have already received. And trust that every step you take is leading you toward the fulfillment of your destiny. The breakthrough is not coming. It is already here. The blessings are not distant. They are unfolding in this very moment. Open your heart. Embrace the journey and know that the best is yet to come. There are moments in life when the world around you shifts, when the unseen becomes more real than the seen, and when your very presence carries a weight that cannot be explained by human understanding. If you notice these things happening, then know that you carry the presence of God. You begin to feel a deep inner peace, one that does not depend on external circumstances. The storms of life may rage, yet within you there is stillness. This is not mere calmness. It is the awareness that you are held, that you are guided, and that nothing can shake the foundation upon which you stand. It is as if the very air around you hums with the assurance of divine protection. The desires of your heart begin to align effortlessly with your reality. Things you once strived for now flow into your life with ease. There is no need for struggle, for you have stepped into the realm of divine manifestation. Your words carry weight. What you speak begins to unfold before you, and what you believe with conviction finds its way into your experience. This is not coincidence. This is the evidence of God's power working through you. People are drawn to you, not for what you do, but for what you radiate. Some will come to you for wisdom, sensing that within you lies something greater than knowledge, a knowing that surpasses human intellect. Others may resist you, for the light within you exposes what is hidden. Your presence alone stirs the hearts of those around you, awakening in them either love or resistance. This is the mark of someone who carries divine presence. You find that obstacles no longer hold power over you. Where once doors remained shut, now they open before you. Paths unfold in ways you never anticipated, and opportunities arrive at the perfect moment. There is no need to chase after anything, for the universe bends in your favor. The energy of struggle is replaced by the grace of divine movement. Even in the face of adversity, you walk with assurance, knowing that all things are working together for your highest good. Your words and thoughts take on a new power. You begin to speak life into situations, and they transform before your eyes. Doubt loses its grip, and faith becomes second nature. You no longer beg or plead. Instead, you affirm, knowing that your prayers are not petitions, but declarations of truth. There is an authority in your voice, not from arrogance, but from the certainty that you and the divine are one. You experience a heightened awareness of divine synchronicity. You think of something and almost instantly confirmation appears. a message, a sign, a perfectly timed encounter. Everything aligns as if guided by an unseen hand. It is not luck. It is the natural outworking of carrying God's presence. You are no longer a mere observer of life. You are a creator, moving in harmony with divine will. Even in solitude, you are never alone. You sense the unseen, feel the embrace of a presence that walks with you, speaks to you, and moves through you. Fear dissolves because you know that you are sustained by something eternal. There is no separation between you and the divine. You are the vessel through which divine power flows. What once seemed distant is now as close as your own breath. You begin to see beyond appearances. Where others see lack, you see abundance. Where others see limitations, you see infinite possibilities. Your vision is no longer confined to the physical. You see with the eyes of faith, knowing that reality is shaped by what is unseen. Your world is no longer controlled by circumstances. It is shaped by the power of your belief. When you notice these things, know that you are not ordinary. You carry something sacred, something powerful, something eternal. You carry the presence of God. There is a weight to your existence, a presence that extends beyond flesh and bone. You do not walk as others walk, nor do you see as others see. There is an awareness within you, an unshakable knowing that transcends logic. When you carry the presence of God, life does not happen to you. It flows through you, responding to the force of your consciousness. Everything around you begins to shift. The places you once found comfort, it may no longer hold the same appeal. The conversations that once entertained you now feel empty. You are no longer drawn to the noise of the world because something deeper calls you. Silence becomes your sanctuary. Not because you are alone, but because in the stillness you can hear the whisper of the divine. The distractions that once captured your attention now fade. For your spirit craves something greater. Running from the world, you are ascending above it. Time bends to those who carry the presence of God. What takes years for others to accomplish happens in moments for you. You think it, you believe it, and it manifests. What once seemed distant is now within reach. This is not wishful thinking. It is the nature of divine power. You do not chase, for what is yours gravitates towards you. There is no need for toil, for your very presence commands alignment. You step into a room, and the atmosphere shifts. Those who recognize the presence upon you will be drawn to you, while those who resist it will be unsettled. You are a carrier of something beyond human comprehension. You feel an overwhelming sense of love, not the fleeting kind found in human relationships, but a love that surpasses all understanding. It is the love that calms storms, the love that heals wounds, the love that whispers, "You are not separate, you are one with all that is." You look upon others with compassion, for you see beyond their actions, beyond their words. You see the divine spark within them, even when they cannot see it themselves. Where there is hate, you bring peace. Where there is chaos, you bring order. You do not react to the world, you shape it. Doors open before you as if an unseen hand goes before you, clearing the path. What seemed impossible now stands before you, waiting for you to step into it. You do not beg for opportunities, for you understand that they are drawn to you. You do not fear loss, for nothing real can be taken from you. The presence of God within you is the source of all provision, and you move through life with unwavering confidence. Others may call it luck, but you know the truth. It is the divine working through you. You begin to notice divine patterns. What once seemed like random occurrences now reveal themselves as orchestrated moments of destiny. You think of something, and the answer appears. You speak of someone, and they call you. You take a step forward, and the path unfolds before you. Coincidence no longer exists in your world. Everything is aligned, everything is ordered, everything is working in your favor. This is what happens when you carry the presence of God. People will misunderstand you. They will question your peace, your certainty, your unwavering faith. Some will try to pull you back into doubt, back into the ordinary ways of thinking. But you cannot go back. You have touched something eternal, and nothing less will satisfy you. The opinions of others no longer concern you, for you have found something greater than human approval. You walk with the confidence of one who knows their purpose, one who knows they are guided, one who knows they are never alone. Your words are no longer empty. You speak, and things move. You declare, and reality aligns. You do not hope for things to change. You expect them to. You understand the power of your voice, the creative force within you. When you say, "Let there be," it is so. The presence you carry does not allow for doubt. For doubt has no place where God resides. You do not pray with uncertainty. You speak with assurance. You do not ask timidly. You command boldly. Your faith is not fragile. It is unshakable. There is a boldness within you that cannot be explained. Where others hesitate, you move forward. Where others fear, you stand firm. There is no need for validation, for you already know who you are. The presence of God does not make you timid. It makes you powerful. You do not seek to fit in, for you were never meant to. You do not shrink yourself to make others comfortable, for you were created to shine. Your presence alone is a statement, a declaration that something greater is at work within you. You are no longer moved by appearances. What seems like a setback is nothing more than a setup. What looks like loss is only preparation for something greater. You see beyond the surface, beyond the temporary. Your trust is not in what you see with your eyes, but in what you know within your spirit. You walk by faith, not by sight. When others panic, you remain calm. When others retreat, you advance. The presence of God does not allow you to cower. It compels you to rise. You attract favor in ways that cannot be explained. Where others strive, you succeed effortlessly. Where others knock on doors, doors swing open for you. It is not because of who you are, but because of who is with you. You do not need connections, for you are already connected to the source of all things. You do not need permission, for you have already been chosen. The presence of God upon you is your qualification, and nothing can stand in the way of divine favor. Obstacles become stepping stones. What was meant to break you only builds you. What was meant to stop you only propels you forward. You are no longer bound by limitations, for you know that all things are possible. The presence of God within you removes barriers, dismantles opposition, and makes a way where there was no way. You are not waiting for circumstances to change. You are shifting circumstances with your faith. You begin to recognize the divine in every moment. You see God in the sunrise, in the laughter of a child, in the kindness of a stranger. The world is no longer mundane. It is sacred. Every breath is a gift. Every step is ordered. Every encounter is divine. You are aware, awake, alive in a way that others are not. You see the unseen, hear the unheard, know the unknown. There is no fear in you, for fear cannot exist where God dwells. You do not fear lack, for you know abundance. You do not fear failure, for you know success is inevitable. You do not fear death, for you know that you are eternal. The presence of God dissolves all fear, replacing it with unshakable confidence. You do not hesitate, you do not doubt, you do not retreat. You move forward with the authority of one who knows they are sent. You do not complain, for you understand the power of your words. You do not speak of lack, for you know that what you declare becomes your reality. You guard your tongue, for you recognize that every word carries weight. You do not waste energy on negativity, for you are too focused on creating. Your speech is deliberate. Your thoughts are intentional. Your actions are aligned with divine purpose. You live with gratitude, for you know that everything is working for your good. Even in challenges, you see the blessing. Even in trials, you find the lesson. You do not dwell on what is missing. You celebrate what is already yours. Your heart is full, your spirit is light, your mind is at peace. Gratitude is not something you practice. It is something you embody. Your life is a testimony. Without speaking a word, your presence alone tells the story of divine power at work. You are a living, breathing manifestation of God's presence. You do not have to convince others they see it. You do not have to prove yourself. It is evident. When you walk into a room, something shifts. When you speak, something moves. When you believe, something happens. If you notice these things happening in your life, then know without a doubt that you carry the presence of God. There is a stillness within you that no storm can shake. The world around you may be filled with noise, but inside there is peace. Not the fragile peace that depends on circumstances, but the kind that remains unmoved, unshaken, untouched. It is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of something greater. While others panic at uncertainty, you rest, for you know who holds your future. You do not fear what is to come, for you already walk in the assurance that all things are working for your good. The presence you carry is not one of doubt, but of divine certainty. People begin to come to you, drawn to something they cannot explain. They seek your presence, your words, your energy, though they may not understand why. It is not you they are after, but what is within you. You are a vessel of something divine, and even those who do not know God can sense that you walk with something greater. They bring their burdens, their questions, their confusion, hoping that just by being near you, they might receive clarity. You do not force wisdom upon them, but when you speak, it is as though truth flows through you effortlessly. Your words are not just heard, they are felt. They penetrate the heart, breaking chains, lifting spirits, awakening minds. You will notice that enemies arise, but you do not fear them. Resistance increases, but you do not falter. You understand that opposition is only proof of the power you carry. Darkness does not fight what does not threaten it. The moment you begin to walk fully in the presence of God, those who operate in deception and fear will feel the weight of your presence, but you do not fight with anger, for there is no need. You do not defend yourself, for the truth stands on its own. You do not seek revenge, for vengeance belongs to the divine. You simply stand, unbothered, unshaken, immovable. Your patience deepens. You no longer rush through life, chasing after things that were never meant for you. You do not strive, for you know that what is meant for you will come effortlessly. What others fight for, you attract. What others beg for, you receive freely. You understand that delay is not denial, but divine alignment. There is no need to panic, no need to force, no need to doubt. What is yours will find you, and nothing can take it away. Your trust is complete, your faith unwavering. You find yourself speaking differently. Words of doubt no longer exit your mouth. You do not say, I hope it works. You say, it is done. You do not say, I am afraid. You say, I am at peace. Your words are not casual. They are declarations. You know that the power of life and death is in the tongue, and you refuse to speak defeat over your life. Your language shifts from lack to abundance, from worry to trust, from uncertainty to confidence. You are careful with your words, for you understand that what you declare becomes your reality. Your energy changes. You do not chase people. You do not force relationships. You do not cling to what is leaving. What is not meant for you falls away effortlessly, and you do not mourn it. You do not grieve lost friendships, for you understand that elevation requires separation. You are not offended when people walk away, for you know that not everyone can go where you are going. You release without resistance, knowing that whatever is meant for you will remain. You are no longer desperate for connection, for you have already found the greatest connection of all. Your desires shift. What once excited you no longer holds your attention. The things that used to entertain you now seem dull. You hunger for wisdom, for truth, for depth. Surface-level conversations no longer interest you. You crave divine insight, revelation, understanding. You no longer waste time on things that do not feed your spirit. Your focus narrows, your priorities change, Your heart aligns with a higher calling. What used to drain you now disgusts you. What once tempted you now repels you. You are no longer satisfied with anything less than divine purpose. People around you may not understand. Some will call you distant, others will say you have changed. They are right. You have changed. You are no longer who you once were. You no longer fit into the spaces that once contained you. You no longer engage in the same distractions. You have outgrown the version of yourself that needed external validation. You no longer seek approval, for you have already been approved by the divine. You do not explain yourself, for truth needs no defense. You do not justify your transformation, for those meant to understand will see it for themselves. You notice miracles more often, not because they were not happening before, but because your eyes are now open to them. The world calls them coincidences, but you know better. You see the hand of God in everything, the timing, the connections, the opportunities. They are too perfect to be random. Everything is orchestrated. Everything is aligned. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You do not doubt, for you see the evidence everywhere. You do not question, for you know that all things are working in divine order. You carry peace with you and others feel it. You enter a space, and without saying a word, the atmosphere shifts. Tension dissolves, anxiety fades, burdens lighten. It is not your presence that does this, but the presence within you. It is undeniable, unmistakable, unshakable. You do not need to announce it, for it is evident in how you move, how you speak, how you exist. You radiate something beyond human comprehension, something that cannot be fabricated, something that cannot be imitated. You can radiate something that cannot be imitated. You lose interest in arguments, in proving yourself, in convincing others. You are no longer affected by the opinions of those who do not understand your calling. You do not waste energy debating with those who refuse to see. You walk away from conflict, not because you are weak, but because you know your strength is not in words, but in presence. You do not engage in battles that are beneath you, for you understand that your victory has already been secured. You do not react to negativity, for you know that nothing can touch you unless you allow it. Your dreams become clearer, more vivid, more powerful. What used to be mere thoughts now come alive. You see glimpses of the future before they unfold. Your intuition sharpens. Your discernment deepens. You sense things before they happen. You know things without being told. You feel shifts in the spiritual realm before they manifest in the physical. You are guided, led, directed at every step. You no longer question where you are going, for you trust the one who is leading you. Everything that once confused you now makes sense. The delays, the detours, the disappointments, they were never setbacks, only setups. Every closed door was protection. Every loss was preparation. Every struggle was strengthening you for what is to come. You see now that nothing was wasted, nothing was accidental, nothing was outside of divine design. Every piece of your journey was necessary. Every lesson was preparing you. Every pain was molding you into the person you were destined to become. You are not the same, and you never will be. The presence of God upon you has changed everything. You walk differently, speak differently, think differently. You no longer wait for signs, for you have become the sign. You no longer seek confirmation, for you already know. You do not hesitate, for you have already decided. You are not afraid, for you have already won. If you notice these things happening in your life, then you do not need to question it. You do not need further proof. You do not need validation. You carry the presence of God. It is undeniable, unstoppable, unshakable. You are no longer walking alone. You are no longer searching for answers. You are no longer wondering if you are chosen. You know, and that knowing is all you need. There is a force moving through you, an energy that cannot be contained, a light that cannot be hidden. You feel it when you wake up in the morning, a quiet assurance that no matter what happens, you are held. You are guided, you are seen. You no longer chase after what is already destined to be yours. You no longer beg for what has already been promised. You walk as one who knows that the divine is working on your behalf, orchestrating, aligning, moving the unseen to bring forth the seen. The world around you begins to shift. Situations that once brought you stress no longer hold the same weight. Situations that once provoked a reaction from you now feel unimportant. You find yourself responding with patience, with wisdom, with grace. It is not that the world has changed, but that you have. You are not the same person who once fought unnecessary battles. You have no desire to prove yourself, no need to defend yourself. The presence you carry speaks for itself. It announces itself before you even open your mouth. People notice that there is something different about you. They may not be able to articulate it, but they feel it. They sense a shift in your energy, a depth in your presence, a power in your silence. You do not need to explain yourself, for your life has become the evidence of something greater at work. You are not moved by gossip, not disturbed by chaos, not shaken by uncertainty. The world may be in turmoil, but you remain anchored. The winds may blow, but you do not sway. The storms may come, but you do not break. You stand firm, unmovable, unstoppable. Doors begin to open effortlessly. Opportunities find you without struggle. What once required force now flows naturally. The things you once ran after now run after you. You understand that what is meant for you cannot be taken, delayed, or denied. You no longer worry about the future because you know the future is already written in your favor. The presence within you ensures that every step is guided. Every decision is blessed. Every path is made straight. There is no need to rush, no need to strive, no need to control. You surrender, and in that surrender, everything falls into place. Your relationships change. Some people will drift away not because you push them out, but because they no longer align with where you are going. Others will be drawn to you, sent by divine timing, meant to walk this journey with you. You do not force connections, for you understand that what is divinely appointed will naturally stay. You do not cling to the past, for you trust that whatever exits your life is making room for something greater. You release with grace, you let go with peace, you trust without fear. You begin to hear divine whispers in the quiet moments. You no longer need loud confirmations, dramatic signs, or external proof. You just know. There is an inner guidance, a sacred intuition that leads you, nudges you, speaks to you in ways that words cannot express. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, making decisions that seem small, but later reveal themselves to be monumental. You understand that nothing is random, that every moment is connected, that every experience is shaping you. Your battles are no longer fought with words, with anger, with resistance. You fight by standing still. You win by walking in peace. You overcome by refusing to be shaken. Your power is in your stillness, in your unshakable trust, in your ability to rest even when everything around you is in motion. The presence you carry does not require noise. It does not seek attention. It does not beg to be seen. It simply exists, and in its existence, everything changes. You find joy in the smallest moments, a sunrise, a quiet moment, a deep breath. You no longer need grand achievements to feel fulfilled. You no longer need recognition to feel worthy. You no longer need validation to feel enough. You are enough simply because you exist. You are complete, not because of what you have, but because of who you are. There is a contentment within you that nothing can take away. A joy that is not dependent on circumstances, a gratitude that flows effortlessly without condition, without expectation. Your vision expands. You no longer see with human eyes, but with divine perspective. You recognize that delays are not denials, that obstacles are only redirections, that every challenge carries a lesson. You do not panic when plans shift, for you understand that what is meant for you cannot be lost. You trust the process even when you do not understand it. You embrace the unknown, knowing that it is leading you somewhere greater. You walk by faith, not by sight, and in doing so you see what others cannot. Everything about you radiates assurance. You do not question your worth, for you know that you are chosen. You do not doubt your path, for you know that you are guided. You do not fear the future, for you know that it has already been secured. You move differently, speak differently, think differently. You are no longer waiting for permission to be you were created to be. You are no longer playing small, no longer shrinking to make others comfortable. You stand tall, fully aware of the light you carry, fully confident in the presence that dwells within you. Time bends in your favor. What should take years happens in months. What should be difficult becomes effortless. The impossible becomes possible. It is not luck, not coincidence, not chance. It is the divine presence moving through you, working for you, manifesting around you. You are not striving. You are flowing. You are not forcing. You are allowing. You are not chasing. You are attracting. Everything that belongs to you is making its way to you with perfect timing, with divine precision. You do not compare your journey to others, for you know that your path is uniquely designed for you. You are not in competition, not in a race, not in a hurry. You trust that what is yours will never miss you. You celebrate others without jealousy, knowing that their success does not diminish your own. You move with confidence, knowing that your story is unfolding exactly as it should. There is no need for anxiety, no room for doubt, no space for fear. You trust, and because you trust, you are at peace. The presence you carry cannot be hidden. It is felt in your words, in your silence, in your very being. It is not something you put on. It is something you embody. It does not fade, does not weaken, does not waver. It is constant, unwavering, eternal. It goes before you, making ways where there were none. It surrounds you, protecting you from what you cannot see. It dwells within you, filling you with wisdom, with strength, with clarity. If you have noticed these things in your life, then you already know. You do not need further proof. You do not need confirmation. You do not need validation. You carry the presence of God, and because of that, everything about your life is different. Everything about your future is secure. Everything about your path is aligned. There is nothing to fear, nothing to doubt, nothing to question. And that knowing is enough. There is a certainty that settles within you, a quiet knowing that you are never alone. Even in moments of solitude, there is a presence that envelops you, a warmth that reassures you, a whisper that speaks directly to your soul. You no longer seek external validation because the truth of who you are has already been revealed to you. The world may offer its opinions, but they do not define you. Circumstances may shift, but they do not shake you. The presence within you is the foundation upon which your life stands, and because of it, you cannot be moved. There is a divine order unfolding in your life. You begin to notice how things align without effort, how opportunities present themselves without struggle. The right people enter your life at the right time. The right doors open exactly when you need them to. You are no longer forcing things to happen. You are allowing them to unfold. You have stepped into a rhythm, a flow, where everything works together for your good. What once seemed impossible now feels inevitable. What once required endless striving now comes with ease. Your perception of time changes. You are no longer in a rush, no longer anxious about the future. You understand that what is meant for you will never miss you. You trust that everything is happening in divine timing, and because of that, you are at peace. Delays do not discourage you. Setbacks do not break you. Uncertainty does not make you afraid. You move with patience, knowing that everything is being arranged in ways beyond your understanding. You do not chase. You do not beg. You do not grasp. You receive. The presence within you draws things toward you without effort, without strain, without manipulation. What you seek is already seeking you. The desires of your heart are not random. They are planted within you for a reason. You no longer doubt your worthiness to receive. You no longer question whether you are deserving. You know that you are. You understand that you are not waiting for a blessing. You are the blessing. You are not waiting for an answer. You are the answer. Everything you need has already been placed inside of you. You find yourself detached from outcomes. You are no longer afraid of losing, no longer worried about missing an opportunity, no longer obsessed with controlling the process. You trust that what belongs to you cannot be taken, cannot be delayed, cannot be denied. This trust gives you freedom. You move with an open heart, unafraid of disappointment, unafraid of failure, unafraid of the unknown. You no longer hold on too tightly, for you know that what is yours will always return to you. There is a radiance in your presence. It is not forced, not fabricated, not performed. It simply is. You do not need to announce it, for it speaks for itself. People are drawn to you, not because of what you say, but because of what they feel in your presence. There is peace in your energy, wisdom in your silence, love in your very being. You carry something that cannot be explained, only experienced. Without trying, you uplift others. Without effort, you inspire. Without speaking, you remind people of something greater. Your faith is no longer dependent on what you see. You do not need signs to believe. You do not need proof to trust. You simply know. Even in moments of uncertainty, you remain confident. Even when things do not make sense, you remain steadfast. You understand that the presence within you is greater than anything that can come against you. You do not fear the unknown, for you know that you are held. You do not fear the future, for you know that it is already secure. There is a stillness within you. The world may be chaotic, but you are calm. Situations may be unpredictable, but you are steady. People may be unreliable, but you are anchored. You are no longer easily swayed by emotions, no longer reactive to negativity, no longer controlled by external circumstances. You observe, but you do not absorb. You acknowledge, but you do not engage. You understand that your peace is your power, and you guard it fiercely. Things that used to trigger you no longer have the same effect. Where you once would have reacted, you now respond with wisdom. Where you once would have engaged in unnecessary conflict, you now choose silence. Where you once would have fought to prove yourself, you now let your presence speak. You no longer seek validation, for you know that you are already enough. You no longer need permission, for you know that you are already chosen. Your prayers shift. You no longer pray from desperation, but from expectation. You do not beg, you declare. You do not plead, you affirm. You do not hope, you know. Your words carry power. Your intentions carry weight. Your desires manifest with ease. You understand that your thoughts create. Your beliefs shape reality. Your faith moves mountains. You are no longer asking for what is already yours. You are stepping into it with certainty. You feel a deep connection to everything around you. Nature speaks to you in ways it never has before. A breeze, a sunset, a quiet moment all feel sacred. You no longer rush through life, but savor it. You no longer overlook the small moments, but cherish them. You realize that presence is not just something you carry, it is something you live. You are fully here, fully aware, fully alive. Your heart expands, compassion flows effortlessly. You forgive easily, not because others deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You release resentment, not because the past changes, but because you refuse to be bound by it. You love without fear, without hesitation, without condition. Your love is not transactional, not limited, not selective. It is pure, abundant, overflowing. You no longer need love to be proven, for you have become love itself. You become an example without trying. Your life speaks louder than your words ever could. Your actions reflect your faith. Your presence reflects your peace. Your being reflects divine love. You do not need to force anyone to understand you, for those who are meant to will see it. You do not need to convince anyone of your worth, for those who recognize truth will honor it. You are a light, and light does not seek permission to shine, it simply shines. You recognize the divine in others. You see beyond appearances, beyond mistakes, beyond limitations. You see people not as they are, but as they are capable of becoming. You speak life into them, not by force, but by presence. You remind them, not with words, but with example. You do not demand change, you inspire it. You do not push growth, you embody it. Everything begins to align in ways you never imagined. Hearts open where there were none. Resources appear without explanation. Solutions arise without effort. It is not magic, not coincidence, not luck. It is divine orchestration. It is the natural flow of one who walks with presence, one who trusts the unseen, one who knows that they are guided. There is nothing to fear, nothing to prove, nothing to doubt. You are not waiting for a sign. You are the sign. You are not waiting for confirmation. You are the confirmation. You are not waiting for permission. You are already chosen. You walk with authority, with certainty, with unshakable faith. You do not wonder if you carry presence. You know that you do. And because of that knowing, everything about your life is different. There is a deep sense of knowing that rises within you, a certainty that defies logic, a quiet voice that reassures you in ways no external words ever could. You no longer search for signs outside of yourself, because you have come to recognize that the greatest sign is within you. There is no need to seek validation from the world, for the presence you carry is your confirmation. You walk with a confidence that is not arrogant but assured. It is not based on circumstances, but on truth. Even when things seem unclear, you do not waver. Even when the path is uncertain, you do not fear. The presence within you is your compass, guiding you, directing you, aligning everything for your highest good. Situations that once troubled you no longer have the same power. You do not react as you once did. You no longer feel the need to defend yourself, to prove yourself, to explain yourself. The presence within you has settled every argument before it even begins. There is a peace that speaks louder than words, a stillness that cannot be shaken. The opinions of others no longer define you, for you know who you are. Rejection does not wound you, for you understand that nothing meant for you can ever pass you by. Delay does not discourage you, for you have come to trust divine timing. You are no longer a prisoner of external circumstances. You have become free in the true sense. Doors open effortlessly. What once required struggle now flows with ease. Where there were obstacles, now there are opportunities. What seemed impossible suddenly becomes inevitable. It is not that life has become easier, but that you have stepped into alignment. You no longer force, no longer chase, no longer manipulate outcomes. Instead, you allow, you trust, you receive. Everything you need is drawn to you, not through effort, but through presence. There is a quiet power in knowing that you do not have to strive, that you do not have to beg, that you do not have to push. What is yours will always find you. Your very being carries authority. It is not in the volume of your words, but in the weight of your presence. You do not need to prove your power, it is felt. You do not need to announce your wisdom, that is known. There is something about you that shifts the atmosphere, something unseen yet undeniable. When you enter a room, things change. People sense it without understanding it. Some are drawn to it, others are unsettled by it, but none can ignore it. It is the mark of those who carry presence. You are no longer easily moved by the opinions of others. Praise does not inflate you, and criticism does not diminish you. You are anchored, grounded, unwavering. You understand that approval from people is fleeting, but the presence within you is eternal. You do not seek to please everyone, for you know that not everyone will understand the path you walk. You do not seek to be understood by all, for you realize that truth is often recognized only by those who are ready to see it. You are at peace with being misunderstood, at ease with walking alone if necessary, content with the knowledge that you are guided. Your relationship with challenges has transformed. What once seemed like opposition now feels like preparation. What once felt like resistance now appears as refinement. You do not resent difficulties, you embrace them. You do not fear hardship. You welcome growth. There is a deep trust that no experience is wasted, that every challenge carries a lesson, that even in the most difficult moments, you are being shaped for something greater. You no longer ask, why is this happening to me? Instead, you ask, what is this teaching me? And in that shift, you find strength where others find despair. You begin to notice divine synchronicities unfolding all around you. The right words appear at the right time. The right connections happen effortlessly. Answers come before the questions are even spoken. You are being guided in ways beyond human comprehension, led down a path that was prepared for you long before you were aware of it. The more you trust, the more the signs appear. The more you let go, the more everything aligns. You have stepped into a flow where struggle is replaced by surrender, where worry is replaced by wonder, where fear is replaced by faith. Your desires begin to manifest with precision. You no longer hope for things, you expect them. You do not beg for blessings, you step into them. Your prayers shift from requests to declarations, from asking to affirming, from wishing to knowing. You understand that what you seek is already seeking you. You realize that the dreams placed in your heart were never random. They were divine instructions waiting to be followed. And as you align with that truth, things unfold in ways that leave no doubt. There is an undeniable power in your words. You do not speak idly, for you understand the weight of what you declare. You no longer say things casually, for you know that words shape reality. You choose your thoughts carefully, your speech intentionally, your affirmations with certainty. What you speak, you see. What you believe, you become. You do not entertain negativity, do not engage in doubt, do not dwell in fear. Your mind is a garden, and you protect it fiercely. You plant only what you wish to grow. You begin to radiate a love that is unshaken by circumstances. You are no longer easily offended, no longer easily angered, no longer burdened by past hurts. You forgive not because others deserve it, but because you refuse to carry the weight of resentment. You love not because of what you receive in return, but because love is your nature. You give freely expecting nothing, knowing that abundance is your birthright. Your presence heals without effort, uplifts without trying, transforms without force. You recognize divine purpose in everything. Even the smallest moments feel significant. A simple conversation carries deeper meaning. A quiet moment becomes sacred. You no longer rush through life, but savor it. You no longer overlook the ordinary, but find the extraordinary within it. Life itself becomes a reflection of the presence you carry. Your faith is no longer something you practice occasionally. It is something you live. It is in the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you move through the world. It is in your stillness, in your confidence, in your ability to trust even when nothing makes sense. You are no longer seeking miracles. You have become one. You are no longer searching for signs. You are the sign. You do not wait for confirmation. You are already chosen. And because of that knowing, you carry yourself differently. You think differently, speak differently, move differently. Everything around you begins to reflect the presence within you. People sense it before you speak. Opportunities align without effort. Doors open without knocking. You do not chase. You do not grasp. You do not force. You trust. You receive. You embody. The presence within you is undeniable. It is seen. It is felt. It is known. It is who you are. You are no longer waiting for a sign, because you have become the sign. You are no longer searching for answers outside of yourself, because the truth has always been within you. The presence you carry is not something you strive for. It is something you surrender to. It is not something you chase. It is something you embody. The moment you recognize it, everything changes. Your steps are guided. Your path is clear, and your spirit is at peace. Walk boldly knowing that you do not move alone. Speak with authority knowing that your words shape reality. Trust unwaveringly, knowing that what is meant for you will always find you. Carry this presence with humility, with certainty, and with love. For when you do not just live, you transform. And through you, the world sees the undeniable proof that God is with you.